If you don't fix wealth inequality, then we have to have high taxes on the middle class and bad education, bad healthcare, bad welfare state. You get the worst of all possible worlds. So the reason I think that wealth inequality is the most important thing in the economy is basically because all the other problems, housing, lack of good jobs, lack of good wages, government debts, government deficits, not enough money for good quality education, healthcare, these are basically all being caused by problems with wealth inequality. And I didn't really go into working in the city with the idea that I was gonna, as an inequality campaigner, basically. I wasn't a campaigner. I wanted to be able to forecast well and to make money. And it needs to be understood that markets and economists are continually forecasting incorrectly. So they're missing something that's very important. There's something very important that they don't understand. And things continually fail to improve because they're missing something. And having studied economics at university and then gone on to work in the city, I can see that these guys don't understand the significance of inequality. And because of that, they've been constantly struggling to understand why there's not enough spending and demand in the economy. And once you understand that the problem is spending, and you also understand that most ordinary people, they spend everything they make in their lives, right? The vast majority of people die with nothing left. They spend everything. And yet we've got a problem of not enough spending. So for years I sort of struggled to understand how can we get this spending. And basically if governments are already overextending, they're borrowing to spend. Ordinary people are borrowing to spend. The only people who can inject that demand into the economy is the rich, basically. But I think all of the other political demands that people want, more affordable housing, better jobs, a stronger economy in a variety of ways, they simply are not affordable unless you fix inequality, specifically wealth inequality. But if you do fix wealth inequality, basically anything becomes affordable. So it drives me mad that economists don't talk about inequality more, but I guess I should be grateful that they don't, because that's why I've been able to make so much money, because their predictions are always wrong and mine are always right. But we simply cannot build a better society without the wealth of the super rich. And if we don't do anything, then not only will we not access their wealth, but they will continue to progressively take more and more of our wealth. So really, I'm not saying it's the only thing that matters in the world, of course it's not, but in terms of the economy, basically nothing else is possible unless we fix wealth inequality. So it's the cornerstone, it's the foundation stone. We need to fix wealth inequality, and then all the other questions we can ask and we can answer. Do you want a big welfare state? Okay, well, you can have one if you fix wealth inequality. If you don't, then you can't have one. Okay, well, do you want low taxes? Well, you can have them if you fix wealth inequality. Well, if you don't, then you can't have them. If you don't fix wealth inequality, then we have to have high taxes on the middle class and bad education, bad healthcare, bad welfare state. You get the worst of all possible worlds. Whereas if you fix wealth inequality, then, we could have that 15-hour week if we wanted it. Or we could have a 100-hour week and we could be phenomenally rich, you know what I mean? But if you don't fix wealth inequality, then the direction of travel is downwards, basically. And that doesn't end. There's nothing within the system that automatically fixes that. So, I believe that capitalism can be a great system and it can provide great human outcomes. But if you don't fix wealth inequality, we will get bad outcomes for the vast majority of people. So it's not a question of, do I think it's the most important thing? I think nothing else is possible if you don't fix it. So we need to get people behind it. And it's important to understand that the economists don't realise that. Most economists don't realise that. But it's also important to understand that most economists come from wealthy families and they own property, so they're not being hurt by it and they're well paid. So unfortunately, it falls upon ordinary people, who are the people getting hurt, to come out and fight for it. And people need to come out and fight for it. People need to come out and say, we need to start demanding explicitly from governments measure wealth inequality and make sure it's decreasing, because it's increasing. And as much as that happens, then less and less will be politically and economically possible in terms of getting the society we want. Housing could be so much more affordable, wages could be so much higher, and we could have so many more options in how we live our lives. Some of them put a lot of money into paying economists and think tanks to tell you that inequality is important for the economy. That is not true.